out there in the lunch therapy world. I hope that you don't have a case of the Moindays, because it is Moin Day. Hoy to everybody out there, and we're going to get through it together. This is a show where that's what we do, is we get through it together. We get through it together. It's a place where you can take a little break from the foiking Moindays. And it could be any day in here. It could be any day here in lunch therapy. We're going to do a little therapy. I've got the hanging bat here, which is always, a good sign. It's always a good sign. And let's get into this thing before they get us. I'm gonna get myself a modem. 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 I'm gonna get my. Whoa! Hey! I'm out here paddleboarding. Yeah, this is a little bit of a mini watch party here before we get into the breathing. But I'm just trying to stay on this paddleboard, and the thing is, bats shit upside down. Of course they do. The problem is I'm kind of on a paddleboard without a paddle, and it looks like I'm going to get hit by that ferry, but it's cool because we're here and we're going to do some breathing right away. Let's get into the breathing room. That place was pretty cool back there. Let's go. All right, so here we are in the beginning of the show, and this is where we're going to breathe. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and I think that this is a really necessary thing, that we take in oxygen and we let it out as much as possible. So here we go, in through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. Shake it off. In through the nose, hold it and let it permeate through all of your body. In through the nose. Hold it. Let it go. Yeah, these Mondays keep coming and coming and coming, and they just keep rolling. It seems like we're in Groundhog Day a little bit. Groundhog Week. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. Today we've got a really good show. We are going to do a completely new segment. We are going to possibly hear from Joe DeHoyas again, who's going to tell us a really creepy story, but that's only if we can handle it. And then we are also going to venture off into the world of animals. Groundhog Year. Right, Groundhog Year. I want to get into that. And let's go, because let's go. Let's go. So here we are. This is the cult of the hummingbird. For those of you that don't know, we are a member of the cult of the hummingbird. And the thing is, the cult of the hummingbird is a coalition of like-minded people who are supporting one another and trying to make the world a better place, and also have a good time and laugh. So we've got a lot of members out there, and anybody can do hashtag cult of the hummingbird on their YouTube channel or their social media and join the group. This is a beautiful hummingbird sent to us by Ganell up there in Washington. I think this is this is one of those things that makes me think, I know now why some people think birds aren't real, because this one, it just is too beautiful to be real. But I think it is. I think it might be, because hummingbirds, I think we decided, are actually real. Let's see, Groundhog Year. Let's see, what if It's Groundhog Year, and 2021 is exactly the same. Nope, can't be new man in charge of the big house. I don't think anybody wants 2021 to be anything like 2020. I think that's very true. Yeah, it won't be nearly as entertaining. I think we'll take the entertaining from here. I think we'll take it from here. So let's get in and watch some cool stuff. So bye 2020. So we're getting to the end of the year here. He agrees. This is a train. Very nice train in Japan. I don't know why there's so much talking going on the train, but anyway, this is a beautiful train. And sometimes I feel like we're on a train and we're totally out of control here because I'm not even looking where I'm going. And I think that's probably the problem when you talk about any kind of spirituality or any kind of higher level of consciousness. A lot of times it comes down to we're in control of our own destiny, that we imagine things and then they manifest themselves into the world. And some people believe this. I tend to want to believe that, we have some control over what's going on. And if that is the case, and if the hummingbirds out there agree with me that perhaps a lot of the world and the way the world goes, at least our social world and our medical world and our political world, is Ben Gervich driving the train. Yeah. If a lot of it comes out of a manifestation of our own thoughts, then perhaps we fucked up this year. Perhaps we've been screwing up for a number of years now, and we need to pay a little bit more attention, maybe see where we're going. And so I'm going to put this out there for the next days, for the rest of the days of the year. And I hope that the rest of the hummingbirds will take this challenge with me, is I'm going to sit for 10 minutes a day, just 10 minutes. And it could be longer. It could, you might find you're enjoying yourself. But I'm going to sit there for 10 minutes and I am going to imagine how I want 2021 to be. And be as specific as possible. Really see yourself in 2021, living your life, and imagining it. Let's see what kind of powers we actually have, right? Just, if just we did that, I think it might make a big difference. And maybe we won't screw 2021 up as much as we screwed up this year. Let's see, we hopped on the Soul Train during the movie viewing last week. Yeah, we had a movie viewing last week, which was super fun. Hopefully we can have some more of those. Jack Franklin was there, and it was like, what a great time to, look at other people's work. That was a pretty scary movie, though. That was really scary. It's still available. If you go find the links on Facebook, you can maybe still take a look at that, but it was super fun. So thanks to those guys for helping us with that and letting us show their work. Let's move on to something cooler. Oh yeah. So this is another train. I don't know what's with the trains, but I think maybe there's a possibility that we should feel as if we're in motion and going away from, going into something better. This is beautiful. Peanut Butter and Honey is here. Hey, Paige. Trish is here. So good to see you. Yeah, let's march forward to 2021. This is kind of a pep talk today. You're like, some of you might be saying, Joel, where's your hilarious guest? Joel, why aren't we seeing some stand-up comedy? But actually today is a little bit of a pep talk for all of us. And what we're going to do is we're going to explore something good that happened in 2020. Does anybody know what it is besides SpaceX? This hummingbird is with you on the meditation for 2021. The universe is going to do great things. Yeah, I feel like I believe this. I believe that we are in control of our own destinies. And if we are going down a tunnel, perhaps we will keep going and find, we'll decide what's at the end of this tunnel. Trains or roller coasters are tranquilizers. Well, this is pretty trippy, this one. Where is this? Where are we? There's the light at the end of the tunnel. Winter cab view from one of the most scenic railways in the world. This is Rail Cowgirl. I mean, it's beautiful. By the way, you can go to this channel anytime and ride the rails. Yeah, I love it. Maybe they're not as, well, this is pretty exciting. I can't say it's not as exciting as a roller coaster. Let's see, though, what I have in store for you next. This is ASMR and animals at the same time. I'm going to get out of the way of this one, I think. Well, I thought I was going to. This is a sloth at the Oregon Zoo. I'm a big fan of the Oregon Zoo. And I'm going to be quiet because you're going to have to hear this guy. For those of you that need some ASMR therapy out there, this is a sloth at the Oregon Zoo, and his name, I gotta find out what the name is again. Josie. This is Josie. Loves apples. He's not eating pumpkin. He's eating an apple. He loves apples. I love, I think it's a slow loris, actually. Is it a sloth? No, it's a sloth. Maybe a slow loris is a sloth. I don't know. But this one is delightful. Yeah, so he was saved. Now they're going to tell us a little bit about this. He was saved from the sloth trade. Apparently there's a sloth trade. I don't think I can play this music. I think I'm going to have to play my own. No, that's two. There. So, yeah. So, he's a two-toed sloth. I don't know what that other word was. Taken from a wild, exotic pet trade. And then given to the zoo, so. Donate to the Oregon Zoo. They seem like they're doing some good stuff. Yeah, so check this out. I can't show the whole video, of course, because it's, I want you to go to the Oregon Zoo. These are some birds. This is a wild bird cam. And you can watch it live anytime, but you can also scroll back and see some cool birds. I like the live cams. They're pretty fun, and it's relaxing, and hopefully you get to see a lot of different birds. Which one is this? So this is, let's see, live birds from Europe. Birdwatching headquarters. I don't know what kind of bird is that. And any ornithologists out there? If only we had an ornithologist. No one knows? I don't know. I'm the worst with birds. Okay, so this is a quiz. A new mammal visited the other day, and you're supposed to guess what it is. That was a woodpecker. That might have been a woodpecker, yeah. I know, Ganelle. Ganelle is our resident expert on birds. What kind of animal is that? Does anybody know? It's a rare visit here at the bird watching. This is also bird watching headquarters. Rat. Ferret. I think ferret's a pretty good guess. Rat. Mink. Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner. That's a mink. To think what they do to the mink. It's terrible. I'm not wearing any more mink stoles, I'll tell you that. Is he eating pumpkin? I wish. Skink. Do minks stink? I know the ferret stinks if you let them do their musky thing. I don't know anything about it. Clearly. Chunk the Groundhog. This is a channel you can go to, and it's a groundhog. This guy, he has a garden, and he has cameras, and he has this Chunk the Groundhog comes in and eats all the food in his gardens. Let's not talk about the mink factory that used to be down by the Edmonds waterfront. I didn't know about that. Oh, look at this guy. This guy is cool. Get rid of this thing. So yeah, you can check out his channel. He has his own channel, Chunk the Groundhog. It is Groundhog Year, I guess. No more mink stoles. Maybe mink rents. Definitely mink purchases, but only the ones that already exist. Let's not kill any more of those guys. A skink is a reptile. We're gonna learn some stuff today. I am gonna attempt this new segment, and I think we got to get into it. But let's just see what else I have here, just because we got to be emotionally ready. There's more Chunk the Groundhog. Yeah, okay. So we're ready. We're going to move into a new segment that I like to call, and it's brand new. So get ready, because it's going to be a little clunky. But it's called Comedians Explaining Science. All right, so let me get rid of the birds here. Okay, so here I am, and what I promised you today was that I was going to look at 2020, and I'm going to say, like, what good things happened in 2020? Are there any good things that happened? So I looked around, and it was hard. It was hard to uncover anything good that happened in 2020. And I found something great. First of all, I want to say, I have been watching, I really enjoy cults. Many of us enjoy cults, and we have a cult of our own. But I have enjoyed watching a lot of cult shows over this time. And this is not the good thing. This is just a segue into the good thing. I've enjoyed watching a lot of cults. So recently I've been watching a show about Heaven's Gate, which is they say it's the cult of cults. And I'm not sure why they say that. I think they're saying it because it is the most basic representation of a cult. The people who ran the cult, I think they really believed that they were going to be picked up by aliens. One guy, I think, was in an insane asylum, and the other person worked there, and they got together and they started their own cult. And it became this thing called Heaven's Gate. So Heaven's Gate, these two people, T and Doe, most basic cult names possible. They started this cult where they started telling people, hey, we're going to be picked up by space aliens and we're going to move to the next level. That's all they said, the next level. And it was extremely basic. And a lot of people, for some reason, get really excited about that. And they were like, oh, that's great. We're going to follow T and Doe and we're going to go into space like Star Trek. And literally like Star Trek. They thought they were going to do that. And it sounded totally bonkers, and it was bonkers, and it goes on, and I'll talk about it some other time. But sometimes, this is my weird segue, sometimes science sounds completely bonkers too. So I've been trying to wrap my head around something that is super cool, and let's just see what Lauren says, because it's super cool. I had a couple of ferrets named Sam and Frodo. They were great friends. They are underrated and misunderstood. Yeah, I always wanted a ferret. I always wanted a ferret. So this is the thing that I found out about, and I'm going to tell you what it is. It's called protein folding. Anybody out there into protein folding? I'm like, protein folding? I don't know. I can barely fold my socks. I can't fold proteins. I tried to fold some protein in my house once I heard about it, and it's just too powdery. I got some protein powder, and I tried to, nothing. I try, I can't. So I'm like, what is it? I thought protein was a thing that you ate to get like big muscles or something, but it turns out proteins are like the major biological building blocks of our bodies and a lot of things, a lot of living things in our world. And they are like tiny nanobots. So I've been watching a lot about it, and I want to, talk to you all about it because this is an amazing advancement that has occurred this year in 2020. So first of all, proteins, there's a movie about it on something called Deep Mind, which I'm going to tell you more about in a second. But yeah, they look like this. They look like this. They all have different shapes. Every protein is built from 20 amino acids. There's just 20 of them. That's it. There's only 20 of them. And what happens is they link together in a chain like a necklace. You take an amino acid, you link it together in a chain, and then it folds into a shape. And the shapes are like what I just showed you there. But the problem is they're so incredibly tiny that they can't even see what the shapes are. So they've got to try and predict the shape, and the shape tells you what the function is and how the thing works in the world. And it does all kinds of incredible things. There's like, let's get the stats here because there are, how many are there? There are 20 amino acids. There's hundreds of amino acids in each protein. There are 20,000 proteins in the human body, and there are 200 million known proteins found on Earth. But that's only a fraction of how many there possibly could be. So strangely enough, if you know the shape of the protein, yeah, this is a good point. Matt, if you know the shape of the protein, then you can tell what it's going to do. And disease, just a little side note, disease a lot of times is a protein that has folded wrong. So if you know the right way it goes, you can maybe do something about that. So there was this guy named Leventhal, which he came up with this idea that if we could figure out from the amino acids, if we could figure out what the protein looks like, we could do incredible things. And the incredible things are fix proteins, but also make new proteins that have never existed or that we don't even know exist that could do all kinds of things. They could definitely cure illness. They could definitely make incredible polymers or incredible building blocks to make buildings and things like that. They could say, these are just some ideas that they have. They could send it out into the atmosphere and eat up all the pollution. They could make something that maybe eats cancer, takes care of cancer. So that if we could figure out this protein folding thing, it would be huge. So because they got so excited about this, they were like, okay, we've got to figure out how to do this. And it turns out it's incredibly complicated. Because this Leventhal guy said, you know what? I think it's probably the possibilities are 10 to the 300, which is an astronomical calculation of trying to try the different ways that proteins fold and try and predict them. So it's impossible. So that's what we think. Yeah, if you're getting confused, try to breathe. I'm going to try and keep us moving along to understand this because I think it's cool. And I think it's definitely uplifting. So every year, they have done this thing called CASP since 1994. It's the Critical Assessment of Structure Proteins. So it is a competition between hundreds of different organizations around the world. And what they do is they know the shape of the protein, and they give to the contestants, they give them, hey, these are the amino acids. What does the protein look like? And so over the years, Every year they do this and they get closer and closer, but not close enough because it has to be somewhere like around 90% or better matching protein for them to actually do something about it. That's called solved. So no one ever solves it. And so they, like Matt said this earlier, you can hook up your home computer and help with the research. So what they came up with the idea of, hey, we could use the hive mind and have everybody play a game. And in that game, they can fold proteins and see if it matches and just keep doing that. And it's like millions of computers or lots of computers, whoever would do this, play this game, trying to solve these proteins foldings. Pass Ganell to Todd. So that's kind of cool. But then, so here's the progression of how it's been going. This is every year. It gets a little bit better. It gets a little bit better. But this dot over here, where it went over 70%, was very recent. And that's because of artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence, when I think of like the computers are going to take over and artificial intelligence is going to destroy us all, well, maybe this is a benefit of artificial intelligence. So there's an organization called DeepMind, and DeepMind is also funded by Google now, and they are using artificial intelligence to try and figure things out like this protein folding. And they started out first with the game Breakout. So the game Breakout. I don't know, many of you know this. There's like a little paddle, there's a ball, and then there's all these blocks, and you try and destroy all the blocks without the ball passing by the paddle. So they took artificial intelligence. I don't know how they do this, but they took artificial intelligence and they had it start playing the game, and it was terrible at it. It was terrible because it didn't even understand like why it's doing that or anything. Didn't understand what the objective of the game was. And it just kept doing it. And they went away and they came back, and all of a sudden it was pretty good. It was like maybe as good as, say, Todd Lee is. AI will do all our homework. Hopefully it will do our homework. Computers have already taken over. But what they found out was that this thing learned how to play Breakout. But not only that, it also learned the best strategy, which a lot of us know who have played Breakout, which is to make a tunnel along the side, get the ball stuck up in there, and then it just starts killing all the blocks at the top. So it figured that out, and it became better than any human Breakout player. And then it took on Space Invaders, and then it took on some maybe more complex games like StarCraft. And then finally, they started this whole program called AlphaGo. And maybe some of you have seen this movie, but there is a movie where the DeepMind took on the game of Go, which is the game with all the little black and white little pieces, and it's just a very, very complex game. And they thought there is no way, computers can play chess, and they have been able to for a number of years, and they've been able to beat grand masters of chess, but not Go. Go is way too complex. And when they put this thing to the task of playing Go, the DeepMind people, it at first seemed like it was doing a terrible job. Like it kept learning. And then they had it play some, really good Go players. And they were like, this thing doesn't know what it's doing because it's not accumulating enough pieces, because you're trying to flip them from white to black. And it's not accumulating very many. And what they found out, and then it would all of a sudden win. And they found out that it actually had a better strategy than a lot of the people that had been playing Go for who knows how long. And it had a better strategy because it was just trying to win by like one. It wasn't trying to win by like a lot. Its strategy was just to win. So after that took on Go, they thought, well, maybe we can take on this protein folding thing. And in a similar way, they created this thing called AlphaFold. And AlphaFold is this, there's a movie about it, but there are these people that just started, saying, hey, let's figure out folding of these. Let's have the computer figure out what the protein structures will look like when they fold. So all these people got together, and COVID hit, and they worked all in their, homes, and they kept working on this thing. And this is what, here they are on a Zoom conference, working away, trying to figure out this protein folding. And a lot of times it just looked like there was no way they were gonna figure this out. But a great thing happened while we were all paying attention to weird politics and getting all crazy. This thing all of a sudden went into the 90s. They got their 100 different amino acid patterns, and they got into the 90s. So there's I don't know where that is, but essentially they were able to predict these things to solve them. So that means that this protein folding thing, it's not perfect, and they still haven't really published their results. But what it seems is that this protein folding problem has been solved. And let's see what Matt says. They can figure out faster if they build a more inclusive team. So Matt, yeah, I think I'm going to have somebody come on and explain what you mean there, because I don't quite understand. But maybe if they have a more inclusive team. But maybe now that they have figured out how to do this, things will, and we're all worried about, like, okay, what are we going to be like for the rest of our existence? Are we going to keep having these viruses coming in and taking us out? And this is some hope. That's what I'm trying to give here. There's a little bit of hope here that things could get better. And this is just to put into your hopper when you're imagining the world of 2021 and 2022. That there are a lot of things possible that we don't even know. And I think one of the things about coming up with what we want our future to look like, is we need to not give ourselves the constraints of what we already know, and start to get to let loose of those constraints and say, you know what, this is just what I want it to look like. I don't know how we get there. Knocking on the hope. Looks like they came up with some good stuff. Not knocking on the hope, but it looks like they came up with some good stuff. Yeah, so hope is good, but also being specific about, like, what kind of a world we want, I think is an important thing. I was going to have this guy tell a crazy story about a ghost, but I just don't think it fits into the show today. Instead, I think we're going to go straight to the dance party. I've got a really interesting person that I found out there. What is cool is, this is a good point. So there are so many different benefits of now that we can fold proteins. One is that we could invent things that never were seen before ever. And the other thing is perhaps we could change things, like they can make possibly something that just eats plastic. So all the plastic that's like out in the ocean or something like that, they could eat it. Bad boys coming to get you. They're coming to get us. I don't know. Nobody's coming to get us. All right, so let's get into the dance party thing. So this has been a segment called A Comedian Trying to Explain Science to You. I think it's good that we wrap our heads around some stuff. And if there are any questions, please put them in the comments and I'll try and find you an answer. Because I'm sure there are questions. Because I don't know. And certainly go to the Deep Mind YouTube channel. Can't we just bury all the plastic in Texas? So there we go. Peanut butter and honey says cool. Because it is cool. It's pretty cool stuff. So now there's a band. I don't know if you ever heard of the band Slipknot. This is a band that I Googled it, and it looks pretty scary. Human history has shown that in times of uncertainty, together we can sometimes make life better. Yes, you make a good point, Lauren, because it's like what we were talking about when they tried protein folding, where they had all the different computers and everybody played the game, and it all moved the ball forward, essentially. And probably when they made the AI, they probably took that into consideration, what they had learned from that. And I think that, yes, all of us together can do great things. Can they figure out new amino acids? Maybe. You know, you can't limit yourself, right? Foldingathome.org. That's the place where you can go play that game, which is super cool. And now we can create a universal phone charger, for God's sakes. That would be great. Okay, so the band Slipknot, really scary band. They look like, it looks like a horror movie. But this guy is super cool, and he's playing a Slipknot song, and that's how we're going to dance out of this thing. Ladies and gentlemen, Frank Watkinson. This guy's channel, Frank Watkinson, if any of you want to hear some great music, this guy is doing covers all day long.
Bury all your secrets in my skin and come away with innocence and leave me with my sins. The air around me still feels like a cage. Love is just a camouflage for what resembles rage.
Maybe not the most positive song, but it's positive to see Frank cranking out the tunes on his YouTube channel. I highly recommend you go there because he's a phenomenon. It's a phenomenon.
So if you love me, let
inspirational.
Me go and run away,
and it's
before
beautiful.
I know my heart is just too dark to care. I can't destroy what isn't there. Deliver me into my fate. If I'm alone, I cannot hate. I don't deserve to have you. My smile was taken long ago. If I can change, I hope I never know.
Yeah, Trish was like this, I thought. I wonder if anybody tells this guy to act his age. Probably not, right? Or maybe they do, and he's like, do another song here for you. Oh, he came up with me. Yeah, this guy's cool. Yeah, probably focused at us.
I couldn't face a life without your lights.
That's right, age is a number only.
But all of that was ripped apart when you refused.
Spitting image of LBJ.
So save your breath, I will not hear. I think I made it very clear. You couldn't hate enough to love. Is that supposed
I
to
kind of,
mean?
you know,
I
think of
only
Leonard
wish you
Cohen,
were my
of course.
friend. Then I could hurt you in the
I
end.
think he does some Leonard Cohen.
I never claimed to be a saint.
Anyway, Frank Watkinson, check it out.
Oh, my arm was
Playing
bandaged
some
long
Slipknot.
ago. It took the death of hope to let
See
you
you
go.
all Wednesday.